is a life coach, facilitator, and a speaker who supports and enables leaders to live extraordinary lives from within. She will lead us into a workshop, The Pathway to Conscious Living, inspiring you to reconnect to your inner sense. Please note that this call will be recorded for our records. Now, moving to the event that we are all eagerly looking forward to. It's a pleasure to introduce to you our speaker, Nishyta Chordi. Nishyta is a co-founder and creative design lead, Doodleblue. She completed her undergrad in art, history, and design and graduated with masters in design from the University of Arts, London. She leads design thinking workshop for all products at Doodleblue. And her passions include UX, art history, and illustration. She is currently working on a design platform, FLO, that focuses on streamlining and documentation and of gathering feedback for visual design. Nishyta, the floor is for you now.
Great. Thanks so much, Rinku Auntie and Yati Auntie. And it's a pleasure to see everyone here today on a Saturday afternoon. And I hope I can make this as interactive and a workshop as possible. So whenever you have questions, stop me. You can put in your questions on the chat box and I'll be more than happy to take them. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do a 101 on how you do design using Canva, because I think a lot of you might not be too familiar or are probably non-designers, non-techie people. So I'm going to go 101 with the basics and get you started so that at the end of the session, you can go in and start, exploring and making your own sort of designs for work-related things, personal events, anything of that sort. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see it. And perfect. So the first thing that really you need to do, right, if any of you don't have an account yet, is it's a free account. You get a lot of the, use out of just the free account, even without having to subscribe to the paid version. You can sign up either through your Gmail that you have, or just sign up with an email or Facebook, anything. So I'm already logged in. I just thought I'll just walk you through this. So anybody who doesn't have it, and if you want to do this as I kind of walk you through this, that's absolutely fine. But you can also take note and then we can do it. You can do it post the session. So you just sort of log in, and I'm just gonna show you once again my screen so that we just save time and I don't have to log in again. So I've already logged into my account, and as you can see, it's really just a super easy platform for anyone who's new to design and who wants to just get started understanding and working with little things. It can be anything. You can come in over here, look at the different templates that are there, and I think this is probably the best thing about Canva is the templates that you have. Whether it's a social media post for a marketing page that you run for, a business of yours, either a bakery or, I don't know, a fashion or a home label, anything, you can come in here and you have templates, size, everything's formatted. You just have to come in and edit it with your own content and put that through. Someone's birthday, an invite, a card, anything that you want to do personally for someone that you want to send out. Today, we have a lot of Zoom parties happening. You want to send out an invite for a Zoom party that you're hosting for someone. You can make it look pretty, unlike just a regular message that you want to send across. Even for business, really, even if you might be great with everything else, and sometimes you're thrown into the sort of spectrum of creating something that looks fancy for a presentation. And it's great to have something that's engaging and that looks good without having to really put in too much effort. And Canva really helps you with that, with the templates that they have. A lot of marketing related things. And I'll walk you through a few examples of that today specifically. And you can really walk through, if any one of you are teachers over here or create lesson plans for people, you can make use of Canva to actually come in and create exciting templates and things like that. So it works really simply. You can come in over here If you have a specific requirement, you can honestly just type it over here and say, I want to create a presentation for a pitch that I'm creating or a proposal that I'm creating. That could be something. Or I want to come in and I want to design a logo for a bakery business that I want to start. And I just want to get started with something that's DIY without having to really go out to a full-blown design agency or anything. And this is all in-house. You can just explore and work on that. So once you sign in, you come into this, which is really your homepage over here. And what you do is you see essentially everything over here. You see what are all the different items that you can do, what your designs have been so far, and your entire sort of database of designs that you've worked with on Canva. And then you just see all the different other aspects of it, whether it's, Instagram posts, a lot of different, trending items that they want to showcase to you. And then you just pick and you choose. You can definitely do from scratch designs from Canva, but I wouldn't recommend that because they have so much to offer already. So use that and then, keep building upon that. And then you have other things that, I'll just kind of briefly go through over here is that you can format all your things into folders over here. So you can put together things as folders and organize it. You can create a team. So this is something that, you can just create a team. So if you work with larger organizations or you have 2-3 people that work with you, you can collaborate together and work together. It makes it very easy and you can kind of make edits right on that for easy collaboration without having other platforms to then give feedback. And then you have sort of your brand kit. So this is something where if you are already you have a brand and a logo and an identity that's already there, then you use the brand kit to really put together all your different assets. So you can put your brand color, your logo, the fonts that you have, etc. And this really becomes something that's really the next level. And you probably don't need this at the moment right now. So just to get you started. So the first thing that I did was I checked in with Rinku Auntie and I was like, why don't we make it a little more interactive and just make it a little more, contextual to all of us over here today. So I asked her for some sort of samples of businesses that some of you all run and why you want to kind of, use a platform like Canva to be able to really make it look the sort of collaterals that you send out, whether it's posters or sort of like a menu card or logos, etc. How you can just spend maybe an hour, 2 hours on Canva and put together something that if someone looks at first glance will be like, wow, this person actually put in some effort. But honestly, it's really just going through a platform like this, exploring a little bit and you have something in no time. So I'm going to start with the first thing that I did. So I'm just going to show you 1 or 2 items. So we had, I'm going to jump right into one of them. So I got this poster of it was called Wild Turmeric, and I think they sent organic and beauty products. So I think this was the poster that was shared with me, and I'm just going to pull that up right away. So this was the poster that was sent to me, right? And I'm pretty sure whoever did it has probably spent some time new to it. But the thing is, there's so much going on over here that it tends to get a little busy as to what I'm trying to read and what I'm trying to get together. So as part of this, to make it super simple and show you that it doesn't really take too much time, I gave myself a limit of like 15 minutes, 20 minutes for each of these things to put together something. And I'm going to walk you through a few of these items as well. So the first thing I thought was, why not give this a better or a more clear logo, because I wasn't able to see this together. So I got right in to what they call the logo section. And, and I just kind of put together a logo as simple as this. So you can come in over here, you're looking for templates over here. You look up other items as well. You want to come in over here, you see, let's say I want to do something that has only text. I don't want to have any image over here. I delete that. I want to look for the other items that I have over here. So this is my work board or my art board. I come in over here, I can search for templates. So I can say I want to search for logo designs, right? And I can specify it. Maybe I can just call it maybe beauty, or and look for options that are already there. Might not always get something, for a particular, specific theme or idea in mind as it is, but you just need to tweak it a little bit. So I can come in over here and I say, you know what, this kind of, I'm happy with this text maybe, but I want to use some other elements, or I might have a drawing in mind, etc. So I can come in over here. I might want to upload something that I drew, or somebody else help me draw. But I don't have that. I don't have anything handy for that. So I want to look for what's available on Canva itself. So I go into elements and I look for items. I want to look for, plant drawings, for instance, because I feel like that could just work well with something like this. So I'm going to just quickly browse through, see what could work, what couldn't work. I want to put something super simple like this. I come here. I want to look at different text options. So the benefit of Canva really is that you're able to look for options, and you can look for different types of items that are sort of packaged for you. So you don't have to spend so much effort there. What you really need to focus on is what's working. And it's a lot of just exploring and playing around. So if I come in over here and I say, you know what, I think this looks nice. This could be something that's clean, it's easy to read. And I just mark that over here. Yeah, I just have to click this, that gets added right over here for me. And I want to, sorry about that. And I just come in over here and I enter whatever text I want, right? I can play around with my sizing over here, let's say. I can come in and change the color if I wanted to. So let's say I wanted to make this like a nice deep green. Or maybe I want to make it like a rust, kind of signifying a little bit of turmeric maybe. And then I have my tagline over here, which was organic and beauty products. So I can go ahead and do that. Yeah. So I'm able to really play around with it without having to do much. I have my existing templates, play around with the sizes, see what looks good, what doesn't look good. And just kind of, look at the different things that I have over here. So I've covered the text or the typography that I want to use. And with typography, I think one of the key things that any designer will tell you is never have more than 2 or 3 fonts or typefaces used in a visual, because it just makes it super cluttered and has too much going on. So you want to keep it simple, and you want to have 2 slightly differing fonts. One that might be, something that's really bold, or something that's more artistic that you could use for titles and things like that. And then you have a more neutral font that you can use for body text and just overall text that's there everywhere in your visuals that can really mark the bulk of it. So let's say I kind of finalized this as my logo, right? And so I kind of copied this, and I want to go ahead and make a version of this flyer that I would want to send. So I'm going to do that right with you. So I come in over here, and what I do is, I like that this, they try to use some sort of pattern or like a visual element in the background to make it look pretty. But the problem over here is that there's so much going on and the font is not readable, that it makes it a little sort of redundant and takes away from the basic function of it being readable. So I come in over here, and one thing that I feel works very well with posters and visuals that you do is this thing called an overlay. So what you can do really is, what I did over here, but just for you to all know, is I just selected a photo. So I came in and I looked for like Ayurveda or herbs, right? Let's say, looked for, and then they have a lot of photos. Of course, they have a lot of paid photos as well, and you have a paid account, but that's something that you can always explore later. But for the moment, at least, you can come in and just put together an image that you want. So let's say I just selected a photo over here, and I'm happy with this photo. Now I don't want to do too much about this. And then I come in and I want to do something called the overlay effect, because that works very well. Instead of having a plain background, you're able to really, do something that's a little visual and kind of breaks the monotony of a lot of text. So I come in over here and I add, let's say, a square, right? I just add a square and I just place it on my board and I cover the entire screen. Yeah, you might be thinking, what am I doing right now? But what I'm going to do is creating this overlay. So I'm going to take like a dark, like a black or a gray. It could be really any color depending on what your design and your sort of color palette is. And then I want to reduce the transparency to a great amount, right? So I can still see something that's happening in the background, but it still allows me readability to kind of add the text above and make it clear. Just to save time, I did crop the images and enter the text, but I did the same thing because I knew this was my logo, and this is what I'm going to kind of finalize as my font type and color palette. I went ahead and used this. Just gonna copy it in over here and paste my logo here, so I'm able to see this. So this might be this looks a bit funny. So what has happened over here is my logo has gone to the background instead of being right in front. So what I want to do over here is I click on position, and I can right now the thing is you move it to the forward, you move it forward, and the other problem over here is the color of my logo and the background match very similarly. So what I could do over here instead is I just use the color of this background and change it to a beige that was there, and that kind of shows this a lot better, right? It's still looking a little busy, right? In my opinion, it's still looking very busy. So what I can do is I further increase the transparency, decrease the transparency. So I'm able to see this a lot clearer. And then I can go ahead and, just add my logo right to the top, so I know this is happening. Now, another challenge that you might face is, well, this is still not readable, the text or the font. There are multiple ways to do this and kind of go about it. First thing, increase my font size. Make sometimes fonts don't have different weights, and weights are basically fonts which have a bold or an italic, and not all fonts tend to have it. So I can come in and use another font or a typeface. So let's say I'm going to use this one called Montserrat. And what I do over here is I come in, pick Montserrat, and I know this is increased in readability, and I want to sort of maybe increase the size a little more. And I realize I want to decrease the size of this logo a little bit and instead give more attention to the font that I have and the text that I have over here. So there's two things I can do, right? I can either crop this completely. So that's one thing. Of course, I don't want to do that right now. It takes away from what we have. But what I can do instead is just resize it. So I come in over here and I just resize this image, right? And then I can basically come in over here and increase this font that I have without this really adding on. So it's really about just kind of exploring this and seeing what works, what doesn't work. And the more you kind of try and play around with it, you end up noticing what works and what doesn't work. So let's say I've come in over here and I just put my watermark or my logo over here. And then I come in and I want to put in my product catalog and sort of the details of costing and prices, etc. So same thing, I just come in, I'm just formatting it. So I literally drag and drop my image over here. The only thing I really did was I cut the images from that, the sort of infographic or the poster that I already have. But if you've taken the pictures, I think one thing definitely that complements a good, poster or a good artwork is having good photographs. So when you're actually taking photographs of your products or anything that you're taking, in case you're not sort of using stock photos that are already available online, make sure you spend some time taking a good photo so that you're able to use it as is without having to do much touch up, etc. And today, with most people having a good smartphone, you can do wonders with just that. You don't need a professional camera, anything. You can use that and just put in your images over here. So from here, then I'm able to, I have all of these items put together, and I'm able to kind of just take this one notch faster and quicker, and just make it look like I spent a lot more time on something like this, ensuring things are still readable, still clear to the eye. And it also just visually, you're using different elements. You're using the overlay, you're having a background with, a little semblance of something that's, herbal, Ayurvedic. You have your text, which is very readable over here. Unlike what we did in the previous version that I showed to you over here, it tends to get a little lost with the text that I have, and it's really busy. And also just simple things like aligning your photos. If you want to have your photos, try and keep them all in one sort of size or format, because this is your catalog at the end of it. And you can just do that with, the crop that you have. So if you look at this, for instance, if you look at these images, these were bigger. And all I did was just crop them so that they all, follow the same standard and they're consistent. And they're just small tips and tricks like this that just make it all consistent and streamlined and help achieve something that looks a lot better. So I'm going to go into like another one or two examples that I did just to kind of show you again. So this was another example. Now here I got this image of I think it was over here. So this was the image that I got, and I'm just going to show you. So I got this image over here. Okay, so this was the image that I got. I was, and I'm sure even, to do something like this, it does take some time. And if it does take you time, why not do it using a tool like this, which can give you better looking, clearer results and just make it overall look good. So this was really what I got. I had these items, and then I said, okay, fine, how do we make this look better? And all I did was I came in over here. I looked for photos because I couldn't, these photos were really not very clear. So I said, anyhow, these look like stock photos. Let's use stock photos over here. I got into my photos. I looked for different things. Like the first thing was, let's say, a cherry tomato. Literally just look for that. And I see over here multiple options for cherry tomatoes. I picked one that I think would work well over here. And I inserted the photo over here. Again, this is a paid photograph, and I think Canva to a large extent is great to use as a free tool. Few things you might need to sort of pay up for, but even then, when you're learning and when you're kind of building on from the basics, I think the free one really allows you a lot over here. So you just put in your images over here, and that's all I did. I just kind of put in my images. I cropped them, kept them consistent. And the other thing is picking a typeface or a font that's very easy to read. A lot of this that we read today and a lot of the material that we see in terms of marketing is digital today. It's not print based. So you're looking it on a phone screen. So you have to keep that in mind when you're designing something, so that when I open a WhatsApp message or my email and I see something like this, or I go on Instagram or Facebook, I'm able to see and read that text very clearly when it's in that size. And one thing that Canva does allow over here and is very flexible with is it has pre-existing templates for different types of things. So if I wanted to create something like this again for, let's say, an Instagram, or I needed to create something for a Facebook header or a social media post for Instagram, specifically in that little square, I'm able to create designs which are fitting in that dimension. And then I'm able to work with what makes things readable, etc. So looking for clean fonts, And you have so many options over here, right? If I were to, I think like typography itself is a subject that a lot of designers work on. And I think the one thing that you need to just keep in mind with typography is don't make it confusing. Keep it really simple. When you're looking, especially over here, you're really creating this poster because you want to be able to communicate the price and what you're selling. And if that's not clear, then you've lost the purpose. And of course then you can enhance it with other things. So after putting the basic information, I said, okay, let's work on just adding a few touches to this to make it look a little more like nice and fun. So I just went on to the elements and I looked for different sort of illustrations, and I picked on these little herbs or like leaves that I put together over here, just to kind of give it a finishing touch and put it all together. So it initially it might seem like there's so many things and so much to do, but I'd say if you want to break it down into three things, I'd say first what you do is just type out all the information that you want to put together. The second thing is if you have images that need to be there. So for instance, here they wanted to put the images for the vegetables, right? You put in that. So you put all your basic content that needs to be there. And then the second part is, which is probably the most key part, is really figuring out your layout. And layouts can be really done in all kinds of ways. You want to kind of put it in a grid, you want to put it in this way that you want menus, etc. And what I'll do right now is, after taking you through this, is really showing you how the different templates are on Canva and what you can do. And maybe this could be like an interactive session where anybody in the audience, if you want to give me something that you want me to put together quickly right now for you, we can do that, so that you're able to see how easy it is and how sort of in a few minutes you can really get something done. And in my opinion, honestly, the thing that takes the most amount of time is really just typing out your text. Everything else is already available to you here with so many templates and and variety of like different types of fonts that you have, elements. You have all the sort of ingredients to then make your secret sauce of a design that you want to put together. So these are some of the examples, and then and then the other thing, I think this was just another example that I wanted to show you. Again, another sort of poster, I think maybe from one of you fellow participants here, is someone has a like a timber business and like a furniture business. So to recreate a logo for them. And this took me, I'm not even joking, but Canva helped me do this in 10 minutes. And as a designer, until something like Canva was there, as a design student, I remember I would have to spend, and really, designers spend a lot of time in doing this and putting things together. But Canva has simplified it to such a level where I feel like sometimes a designer would probably feel like they're kind of lost and they don't have a job anymore. They make it so simple, especially for all this DIY sort of stuff that you can put together. So I came in over here, I put together I just typed for a logo and I looked for elements, different types of elements that suggest wood or timber. And that's all. I just came in over here. Came in over here. And I just put together different types of logos that were there and elements that are there. And I looked for different things that could work well. This just seemed something that was clean, that was nice. And at the end of it, it is also to do with your aesthetics and what you like and what you dislike, to kind of fuse it together with what your personal taste and design is. But the key thing in design is you need to make it really functional. And the functional part of it is, at the end of it, you're communicating something. You're communicating information, images, a phone number, there's a sale somewhere, product information. So that needs to be core to your design. Everything else is are elements to enhance it, right? So over here, the basic thing that I want to come in and see is my name, the address, and let's say the number. Everything else is kind of just, just items to enhance this and make this better. And these were all templates that are readily available. So I come in over here, I can look for other business cards or invites, let's say. Or I want to create now, let's say I want to create, I think this business card is fine. And we can go into something that I want to create, a sale poster. I come in here, this was another image from timber. I added it over here and I just looked for sale poster over here and I came in and added it over here. I can create a little overlay if I want to, or I can just, if it's readable as is, this is great. And then I can come in, add my logo. So I come in, copy this, paste this right here. This is all in a brown, so it's not very clear to the eye right now. I want to come in and I want to maybe change it to white, right? So you're able to see that this is very faint over here because we're making it to a different size. So because I'm not able to see on my small screen over here, what I can do directly here is look for a format where I can make this bigger, change the color over here itself, and then sort of add it. Of course, you can't see it over here right now, but I can add a background color over here. So I'm able to see this, for instance. And then if I want to copy this here into my sale poster, it makes everything a lot easier. Right? Put it over here. So this way I'm able to, in a few seconds, in a few minutes, I have sort of items that I can put together and sort of explore and really focus more on then just kind of working and understanding how better to use and create a brand, right? These are just sort of guiding tools and like a starter kit to get you familiar with what a non-designer might not be used to certain terms and components in design. And I think Canva has beautifully broken that down for anybody. So I can come in, I look at my templates, I can upload some sort of, if I already had a logo, for instance, I use my logo to actually just kind of create my different brand assets over here, a social media post, anything of that sort. I want to add in photos. I don't, a lot of times we don't have photos for everything and you want to use stock photos or images. And they have a really large tool and a database of images itself over here. And then elements, you can use all kinds of illustrations and different types of sketches and graphics that really, make certain sort of posters and sort of other sort of collaterals come alive with that. Because visuals really tend to break that monotony in any large pieces of text. And sometimes, you need that to kind of give you that recall and recognition value. And text also, I think they have a lot of different ways of doing it where you can come in, see the different types of text and font combinations that you have. And then you can break it up as different headers, subheading, body text, change colors, etc. You can create videos as well over here. So there are lots of different things that you can create. You can create a video, you can create, so if I go back over here, you can create all kinds of things. And I can open it out now if there's something specific that anybody wants to see, and we can go through that. And then I just have a 5-minute on like the 10 sort of basic things that you should keep in mind when you're designing something, just as a starter kit, whether it's Canva, whether it's just in design in general and graphic design in general, so that you're able to keep these sort of basic rules in mind when you're designing something. And yeah, I'm open to any questions that you have, and let me know.
Niyati, do you want to... Sorry.
Nishyta, could you tell us, a couple of people are asking, and it's interesting how to do the layering. If you could go run it through, I mean, just tell us something a little more about it again, just for people who are interested.
Sure, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so let's say an Instagram post now, just so that I can show you something else, right? Because a lot of businesses today run on Instagram itself. So let's say I was to do social media marketing, and one challenge a lot of people face is, what size should my Facebook cover post be, or what size should my Instagram story, because they all come in different dimensions and different sizes. So one thing that they do very well over here is that if I click an Instagram, story highlight or a post, etc., I'm able to do it very, very easily. So let's say I just say I want to create an Instagram story. So I come in over here and I want to create a sale post for something. So let's say we're creating, there's a bake sale going on, let's say. I want to come in and I want to just create a post for that. So I come in over here, I can look, if I had my own bakery, or if I do have my own baking sort of page, I would have a lot of my photos, but for the interest of time, I come in over here for cupcakes, maybe, so we get some nice photos. So let's say I want to choose this, right? One thing though with this picture, I think, is that this is a horizontal or a landscape image, and my story on Instagram should technically be a portrait, or at least if I want to cover the whole page. So this might not actually be the best example that I have, unless, let's say, I crop it like this, but then it loses the charm. So I shouldn't use a photo like this. I should kind of ideally look for a photo that's, in the vertical, or I could do this, and just say I want to flip it. I flip this, or I sort of not flip it, I just kind of turn it up, right? I just do a simple turn up and so, right? I have, let's say, a better looking picture over here just by, changing the position and then adding in just sort of resizing the thing. I'm looking at a good sort of story background image. But you can't really fit in text right on this because there's so much happening in the background, readability will be lost. So let's say I come in over here again. I want to add, some sort of overlay effect. I might not want to add the overlay for the whole thing. I want to just add it for the center. That's where I'm going to have my sale message, for instance. But I don't want it to be so stark and brown. I want there to be a little bit of softness over here. So I'm just going to change this transparency to, let's say, 90%. Because if I make it, let's say, if I made it 50%, certain text would not show at all over here. You can very much see the background already. So I want to change this to at least anything above 75% should work, but we can always fine tune this later. Now I want to come in over here and just add in something to do with a sale. So let's see if they already, okay, so there's already one over here that's there. There are so many font options that they already show examples. So it just gives you a good guide as to what's working well. Just explore a little more before you find something. I think this could be, let's say, something that's interesting. So I come in and I add it here. Yeah. And it's fairly clear, but I think I might want to just maybe change the square a little bit. Sorry, I think I added this a few times. And I want to just change the size so it fits better within this square. Yeah. And I center align. So all the pink lines that you see over here, these are all guiding ruler lines that really help with aligning items and making it sort of centralized things so that you're making sure things are symmetrical and they look good and they help as guiding measures. Now I want to just increase this square a little bit and centralize it. But I feel that maybe I can go a little more with the opacity of this. So I want to change it to, let's say, 85. Yeah. And I'm able to add something that's really simple, and it took us less than 5 minutes. What would take us the longest time really is just finding the right picture. But apart from that, it's taken us 5 minutes over here. Similarly, we can do this with, they already have something called backgrounds. So let's say we explore some of their backgrounds over here. They have different types of backgrounds available over here, and you can test it out as well. Or if there's a specific theme in mind that you want to create it for, able to create, let's say you want to do something that's plant related. You're able to put together something like this. You can have, again, another overlay that you want to do. So let's say this time we want to do something. It's a little oval. Yeah, we want to do something that's a little oval over here. And again, I just kind of change my opacity. I want to spruce this up a little more, and I want to add a few more sort of line elements. So I'm just looking for other items. So you have different types of things. We have an entire theme for coronavirus, graphics over here. You have different types of illustrations for just plants and animals, or like zodiac symbols. It's really a library of all kinds of things that you can find. And you'll find more so anything that's on your mind or anything that pertains to your business. Very little.
Full volume down.
Sorry.
Only 4 things. Boil it in water.
Yeah, okay, I will just go ahead. So let's say I like these monoline elements, for instance. I think this can create a nice little, centering sort of frame for some content that I want to put in over here. And let's say I want to pick something like this, right? Maybe this oval doesn't look that good anymore, and I want to change this back to, let's say, a circle. So I go back to my circle, and I can change this position. I want to put this right at the back. Well, not at the back, but just behind this other pretty sort of frame that I've put together. So what I say is I want to send this backward, right? So that this comes to me in front. I don't want to completely, I don't have to. I mean, I can leave it as it is, or I can test this out a bit, and I want to just change it and play around with it, see how it looks. There's a little bit of exploring over here. And then I can put in whatever text I want to over here. So let's say I want to put some text that's to do with anything really, just a quote that I want to put in over here, let's say, or just a message. Then work on just playing around and changing up the colors to see how things look and how the readability is. Another thing, black is the color that can be really stark on certain things. So you want to tone it down. So sometimes even if you use a navy blue, or let's say a deep brown or a dark gray, it tends to reduce the starkness and really makes things look a lot better. So I'm just going to show you how. So we see that the black is quite stark over here. White is easy to read on this color, but sometimes white is not very easy to read. So if let's say I was using black, this is very stark. Same thing if I came in over here and I would change it to, let's say, a deep green maybe, because we have a lot of green, or let's say a brown, it just reduces that starkness of this. But over here, I think white, because it's able to read through very clearly and it complements the background that we have. I would go with a white just so that it puts together the entire thing and we were able to get done with it. And then, you can create watermark. Another popular thing that businesses want to do, or, fashion labels or design labels want to do, is they have images of their product pieces and it can get misused very easily. So you might want to just put a watermark of your logo. And for that, you can just come in. So let's say I have Doodleblue's logo handy over here. So let's say I was just to put a Doodleblue logo over here. Right. I could just put something like this over here, and I can reduce the transparency. And this becomes a nice watermark for me over here. I want to put it up big so that nobody copies it or crops it. I can do that as well and just increase transparency to a great degree, or keep it up. So this is a great tool to kind of just watermark some of your images that you want to, use things as frames to put things together, etc. And before I end, I'll just walk you through one last sort of tips and tricks in just terms of what you should keep in mind while you're designing, because Canva really allows you to do so many different things and it can be overwhelming at once. So a few basic things that I feel that you should keep in mind when you design really is the following things, right? So first thing you want to keep in mind is really space. You want your you want to have enough negative space or enough sort of empty space so that the content that you're showing in your infographic or poster or menu card, anything is really very clear and you're able to bring attention to the key sections of your image there. The second thing is don't use too much typography and don't use lengthy bits of it, because when you use too many types of fonts, it just feels like I've just copy pasted a bunch of things and put it together. And instead, if you just stick to 2 or 3 fonts throughout, you're building consistency and it really helps read and create a visual language. And another thing, I mean, it's not that relevant for collaterals like this when we're creating little menu cards, etc. But another thing we should avoid is just having long lines of text. Wherever possible, break it up with different types of color or icons. For instance, you don't have to say mobile number anymore. If you have a mobile icon, for instance, a person's able to understand that you're referring to a mobile number. So wherever possible, use icons or visual tools to be able to complement the content that you're putting together. Another thing I feel that gets very tricky and really makes it or breaks it for a design is color. So color is used to sort of enhance your design, and to ensure that it's used effectively, it needs to be able to really enhance your readability. You can't have, let's say, fluorescent green or a fluorescent yellow on a fluorescent orange, because then that just, completely defeats the purpose. You want the color to be able to bring in enough contrast so that you're able to give enough attention to a particular aspect that you're, highlighting in your design. And so use color effectively there. The next thing that I'd say is, again, I think, going back to type, when you have too much word and too much sort of language over here, it tends to kind of become very monotonous and bore people out. So use different types of text. So like different weights of text, use visual icons to be able to bring that recall value, create interest in what a person is viewing. And then, of course, create balance and alignment. So I think grids are one particularly, great tools that designers use to be able to ensure that they're able to bring a lot of symmetry in the designs that they do. So the pink lines in Canva really help with that. That's one thing. Another really, useful tool is having textures or overlays and backgrounds to be able to create interest instead of having plain white backgrounds all the time. You're able to find yet another place to be able to showcase the products that you're, creating or putting together, or have a great way to show, let's say, very, images that really showcase what you're trying to show over there. Another very key tool over here is hierarchy of how you're showing your text. So it's, or anything, this sort of image really clearly defines it. You want to be able to highlight, what you're showcasing in your infographic or your design based on the hierarchy of the information. So whatever is a priority, whatever is most important, can be either a different color, bigger, have visual elements to it, or can be slightly different in terms of a typeface apart from the other. Big doesn't always necessarily mean that it's the most important, but that's one of the sort of simplest ways of doing so. So use that hierarchy wisely so that you're able to grab the attention of the viewer to what you're trying to say. And if you already have a brand in place, use your branding elements in your designs to be able to bring that recall value and consistency that your brand really shines. And then I think with Canva, really, you have so many templates. So you just need to go in, look for a template, just, search for something. So let's say you run a fashion line and you want to create posters for that. You really need to just type fashion posters or fashion flyers, and you'll be able to see a plethora of templates that you can use. And then it's just about adding in your content, your images to customize it for what you want. And then tweaking colors, tweaking the images that you have, small things like that. And you're ready with your design. And the end of it, just really just less is more. You don't have to complicate things. When you have something that's simple, that's clean, it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to create as well, because you don't have to put a lot of time on it. So keep it simple, keep it very, very clean. You're able to achieve a lot more, and you're able to really drive a lot more attention to what, the focus of that design was anyway. So all of this that I showed to you today is really achievable just by a free sort of Canva account. You don't need to have a paid account. And this really helps with most marketing and design simple needs that you have. And this is not something that I use on a daily basis. I think Rinkwati did mention as well. I don't use this on a daily basis, but this has made it very easy for us to, work. And I've seen so many friends of mine who have no design experience, and sometimes they're like, can you recommend something to me that can be helpful? I create posters on Instagram and I want something that's really quick, or I have an invite to make. Newer businesses that don't have sort of, the sort of financial setup to actually create a design team, etc. This is great for someone like that to be able to get started and then build on from there. And yeah, I think that's basically, that comes really to the end of my presentation over here, but I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. And yeah, this is just sort of my information in case you have any questions or you want to reach out to me of what I do.
That was lovely, Nishyta. I think the screen sharing is frozen a little bit. I mean, can we just...
It's paused?
It's frozen. It's kind of...
I'll just take a look at it. 1 second.
Meanwhile, I'm just gathering a few questions. We have a lot of beginners.
Okay.
Okay, so there is somebody who's asked a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. How can we use Canva on the phone?
Yeah, so you can use Canva on the phone as well. Just with any design tool or anything, phone versus web, I just always prefer using web because you just have a lot more space to see things, and you're able to use it more effectively then. With your phone, otherwise you get a little limited. You have only that much space. You're not able to see the scale and size of things, but it's possible. So especially if you're doing phone related, mobile related things, it's definitely possible.
Okay. Yeah. We have another question. How does one increase or decrease the size of an already existing picture?
So that's simple. So there are two aspects to it, right? In the size of a photo, the pixels, which is the sort of quality of the image, is not something you can increase or decrease. That is whatever the source of the photo is will remain as is. You can just resize it, and I'll just show that to you. But if it's not a very good quality picture, if you really scale it up or blow it up, for instance, it will not look good. So let's take a quick example over here. So let's say I take this, and I think this is not a very good example. Like, this is not a very good quality photo because I took it from another photo. Now I can just scale this up, but you can see it gets really grainy and bad, right?
Get screen
We
share.
can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1 second. Are you able to see it now?
Yeah, it's
yes.
fine.
Let's say I have, this was my photo, right? This was the photo that I had. and it's really small and the quality is not very good. So if I scale this up, then this really becomes grainy. And this is related to the pixels of the photo. So if you see that you have a high pixel or high resolution image, then if you scale it up or down, the quality will be retained. But if it's not very good quality, then if you scale it up, which you can do so in this example, like I'm showing you, it just looks very, very hazy and grainy. Yeah, but you just have to pull it up or pull it down. That's all.
Okay. There is another question here.
Yeah.
Is there a way to remove the Canva name from the picture?
Okay, so that's where Canva makes their money, right? If you go for the paid account, then they remove it. Otherwise, they have that. It's really simple. That's how they make their money. So if you go for the paid account, you can remove it.
So is it like a normal? Is it like every monthly payment that you have to do, or every picture that you choose you need to pay?
No, it's a subscription that you pay for. So you pay a subscription. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's $12.99 a month, and you get all these services for free in that. So that's the Canva Pro account.
Okay. I have another very interesting question. Some of our people have been trying it while you've been explaining. They've been trying out.
Yeah.
And is it possible to quickly take us through how to add video content?
Yeah. So what type of video content do you want to add? If someone can kind of explain to me what.
Maybe if I have a video clipping on my phone, and is it possible to add something on it?
Yeah, of course. So what you can do is, let me just show you one quick example. So let's go into a video. So if I want to do a video, and I want to create a video, let's say for, I don't know, YouTube or just any video, right? For social media, for instance. So let's say I put this together. So apart from everything that I said to you before, the only thing that changes in a video is now you have the element of time. Everything else kind of remains the same. So let's say I use something like this, right? I know I can see the different aspects of this. I can play this if I want to. So I can play this. So what's going to come in the different sort of different frames of the video, I have that over here. Or let's say I wanted, maybe I can take another example just so that it's better. Let's look for an ad or something of that sort. Okay. Right. So if I have something like this, like I'm able to see my different items over here, and I can animate this. So if I want to play this, this is my existing video, for instance, right? That's there. This is part of the template. Now I can come in over here and I want to change this to, I don't know, missing our amazing burgers. So I just want to come in and I want to change the text, for instance, right? And I want to maybe put another number, contact, okay. And I want to change the name. It's not Demi God's Burgers. It's let's say it's Chennai Burgers, right? Let's just leave this as it is, I guess. Yeah. So now when I play this, it should change up to missing our amazing burgers, and I have these details changed. And what I'm doing over here in the different frames is I'm able to see what's happening. So I can come in over here and I can see my different frames that are there as well. And I keep editing it as is. So if I took, let's say, something like this, I come in, say I add it as a new page. I come in over here again, I can see the different, sorry, this is showing. I come in over here, I can see this, right? Again, what I'm doing over here is I'm essentially just making edits on the different frames, and then I put it together. So I can change this to photography contest. Right? Change it to whatever I want to, change my colors, my text, sizing. I'm doing exactly the same things. But because the format already caters to video, I'm able to automatically see that. Then I want to change this, maybe I want to change this color to gray, for instance. I play this, it changes over here. Does that answer your question? And then it's really about playing around more with it. You can upload your own video as well over here. So that's the other thing. So you can upload a video of your own, add items to that, etc. as well.
So from where would we be able to upload our own video? Could you just show us on screen?
So I don't have a video with me over here, but
or a picture either.
So what I would do is I would just do this. I would just take it from my folder and just drag and drop it over here. That's it.
Okay.
You do the exact same thing with the video.
All right. Just a drag and drop.
Yeah, just a drag and drop. That's it.
So we have another question here.
Or you can do this button, upload an image or video. You just click on that and you can take it either from your device. If it's on Facebook, on your Google Drive, from your Instagram Dropbox, you can just click one of those and then directly upload it from there. So both of these things. Sorry, you were.
There's a question from somebody here. They're asking is there an option to create product labels?
Product labels. Sure. I mean, see, a product label is like any other graphic content. So depending on what that label is, you come in. So let's say you have a dimension in mind. You really just come in and create something from scratch over there. And you just have to create that template and then do that. You can create a product label. Just to kind of get a little more detail, what is this product label for? Is it going to be for print? You can create documents for print. The only thing you should keep in mind, and everyone should keep in mind when you design something for a print-based medium versus digital, for digital, you use the RGB color scale. And so when you're saving it, you just need to keep that in mind. And when you use it for print, it'll always be a CMYK color range.
So that leads me to another question. Is there an image saving option for WhatsApp or etc.?
Yeah. So there's a lot of image saving options. So let's say I want to save this, right? All I do is I just download this. I can, they have this option to print flyers as well. You can download this. You can share the link to someone so that they can see. You can present it, put it on your Facebook page. You have a lot of options. I just want to say download. If it was for print, then they suggest PDF print. They do that. If I just want it for PNG or JPEG, I just, let's say, I save it as a JPEG file. And that's it, right? But this is premium, so I can't do this right now with this account. So I want to just do PNG. I can say what size I wanted. Right now, the size is as what I've seen over here, but I can make it 2 times, 3 times, whatever, the different options. And I just say, because I've used particular sort of options of, a few images over here, this is going to be paid. So let's look for another one. Yeah, I think we'll use this. So let's say I download this. I can just download it as it is. Oh no, I have images here as well. So let's look for, okay, let's look for this. This we can download. I just download this as it is. And I don't want all of the pictures. I just want conveniently chosen all the paid ones. 1 second, let's just go to one which is not.
They do keep the best ones paid.
Yeah, they do. That's how they monetize. So okay, let's look for a free thing. Yeah, so this is not free. So let's say I want to go to a free one. let's say I just put this. I'm just showing this to you for an example. I can just download this.
Is there a way where we can find out whether it's a free one or a paid one?
Yeah, over here it will tell you if it's free.
Right.
Yeah. So this one isn't. I'm able to download this.
Okay, great.
And once I do that, I basically see that downloaded onto my system. And yeah, and I open that up. Super simple.
Super.
The pictures is where they make it most sort of, that's where they make a lot of money and they take a lot of money from you. Apart from that, they have other features, etc., that you can use. But to begin with, a free account is more than enough.
Okay. One last question before we end. Is there a ratio of text to graphic that looks better? Or a ratio between empty space and used space? What would look better? What do you suggest?
Okay, so this is very, very subjective. So there's no one rule fits all. But what you need to remember always is have enough breathing space. So over here, if I know this is going to be the highlight of my sort of, let's look for a better example where there's a lot more text, right? Here, I need to keep in mind what I'm trying to do over here. And depending on the brand and what I am, there are different things that we have to keep in mind. If it's a luxury brand, if you've noticed a lot, they tend to always have a lot more empty space and they're really focusing on one thing at a time. If you have a brand that's more of an everyday sort of, I don't know, an essential services or a high school, there's a lot more that happens. What you need to keep in mind is there are different things that people use. They use the golden ratio, they use all kinds of things. But you, at the end of it, you need to just forget everything, look at the image that you've designed, see what you're looking at first. If you're able to look at all of those items and read all of those items at first, then you know, that's really the essence of it. So the hierarchy of information that you put together as well is really key on how you determine what is important and not.
Thank you, Nishyta, for a wonderful session. I think the lockdown Sunday is going to be made well use of by all our new people who are going to be trying Canva. So thank you so much for so much of insight, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I have a question, ma'am. Can I ask just one last question?
I think I'm going to get a lot more younger resources. There's so much to learn from all our youngsters. It's amazing. And Niyati, thank you so much for a fabulous, fabulous moderation. You've been excellent. We would really appreciate more members coming forth, and just text me, message me if you're willing to volunteer your time to take care of any session. Nishita, I have a request from one of our members who runs a travel company, and I think I'd sent you her invite. If you get time, if you just rework that and send it to me later. I understand we didn't have time. I'd love to send it.
I will. Of course.
Someone who's reinventing her startup right now. Okay. Thanks a ton. Thank you so much, ladies. And 2nd of September promises to be a really, really good session. If you all want to say bye to Nishi, you can just switch on your videos and do so.
Bye, Nishyta. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. We can leave now. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye, Nishi.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.